These fighters in the Sahara Desert are the Mushtaraka, the Joint Protection Force for Darfur. They are fighting in Sudan's civil war alongside the Sudanese army against their common enemy, the Rapid Support Forces, known as the RSF. On November 21st, 2024, the Mushtaraka captured a convoy out in the desert, somewhere between Libya and Sudan. They showed off their spoils. They found ID papers and documents written in Spanish. And crates of weapons. The Sudanese army and their allies accused the United Arab Emirates of supporting their enemy, the RSF. Experts from the United Nations say the allegations are credible. The UAE, its leader Mohammed bin Zayed, seen here with the leader of the RSF before the war, denies sending weapons to the rebels. In the videos they filmed in the desert, the Mushtaraka filmed inscriptions on the weapons they captured. The inscriptions filmed in the desert between Libya and Sudan led our investigation to Europe, and proof that the weapons were made in Bulgaria. They were purchased by the army of the United Arab Emirates and later showed up in Sudan. This despite the fact that Sudan has been subject to a European arms embargo since 1994. A new civil war has been raging since 2023, when the RSF militia rose up against its former ally, the Sudanese army. How did these weapons end up in Sudan? And who is responsible? The crates captured by the Mushtaraka in the desert bore this symbol, the international sign for Class 1 explosives, a label with names in Cyrillic script and the words 81mm mortar, HE, for high explosive. The crates also had an international shipment code with the initials BG for Bulgaria. Inside, the mortar bombs are in cardboard tubes marked with a 6-digit code starting with 46. In Bulgaria, the number 46 refers to a specific manufacturer.
Дунарит е основан през далечната 1903 година от група предприемачи в град Русе, България.
Dunarit is an arms manufacturer based in northern Bulgaria, specialized in making artillery shells and mortar bombs of all calibers, including 81mm bombs equipped with M6 detonators, like the weapons captured in Sudan. Bulgaria has been a member of the European Union since 2007. It is illegal to export European-made weapons to Sudan.
There's an EU arms embargo on Sudan that definitely covers that kind of equipment. There's a very clear EU policy. There's some exceptions, but I can't see how a transfer that was going on to Sudan could possibly be covered by those exceptions. So it's definitely a violation of the EU policy.
We wanted to know more, so we called the company and spoke to its CEO.
This contract was carried out in accordance with all applicable regulations. The authorities in Bulgaria regulate such transactions.
Mr. Petrov also sent us an email.
The ammunition was exported to the government of a country that is not subject to international restrictions. All the documents concerning the case are available to the competent authorities, notably the certificate of delivery.
We were able to obtain the certificate of delivery, a document in which the purchaser confirms receiving mortar bombs made by Dunarit. Dated August 16, 2020, it gave a list of tens of thousands of mortar bombs. They had been delivered in January and February 2020. The purchaser was listed as the United Arab Emirates GHQ Armed Forces. The document also names an Emirati importer, the International Golden Group.
The International Golden Group was founded in 2002. They were founded as a semi-private company with strong links to the government. They've been a supplier to the UAE forces as well as to the Ministry of the Interior. They've also been implicated in the diversion of arms to Libya by the UN panel of experts.
Libya, like Sudan, is under international arms embargoes by the EU and the UN. The International Golden Group is regularly cited in UN reports on illegal shipments to Libya. In 2013, for purchasing machine gun rounds made in Albania. In 2016, assault rifles made in Bulgaria. And in 2022, mortar bombs made in Serbia, used to booby-trap civilians in Libya. The UN reports say the weapons were found in areas occupied by the forces of General Khalifa Haftar, the Libyan strongman who controls most of eastern Libya. UN experts have accused the UAE of sending weapons to General Haftar for years. The Gulf state is now accused of doing the same for the RSF in Sudan.
Alors, l'origine de Khalifa Haftar a comme bailleur de fonds les Émirats Arabes Unis, et c'est l'État qui soutient indirectement les forces de soutien rapide. Il y a des rapports crédibles comme quoi les Émirats Arabes Unis ont demandé aux forces de soutien rapide de prêter main forte au régime de Haftar à un moment donné, et ce qui a fait qu'il y a ce lien-là. Il y a un soutien qui est venu de la part de Haftar et au début de la guerre, même avant la guerre.
But how did weapons purchased by a company that is regularly cited in illegal shipments to Libya end up across the border in Sudan? The ID papers found in the desert belonged to a man from Colombia. We'll call him Christian L.
The
documents indicate that Christian L. had been an officer in the Colombian military. On his social media accounts, he documented his voyage. He left Colombia in October 2024. He made a stop in Paris before arriving in the UAE, the capital, Abu Dhabi. 2 weeks later, he was in Libya, in an area controlled by General Haftar's forces. His convoy was attacked 4 days later, across the border in Sudan. That is where his ID papers were filmed. There's no trace of what happened to him. According to the Colombian media, Christian L. was one of around 300 former Colombian soldiers sent to Sudan to support the RSF, after signing agreements with a security company in the Emirates. Sudan analyst Suleiman Baldo says the route that Christian L. had been on is well trafficked.
Disons, cette route-là, ça a toujours existé. Ça comprend principalement la ville de Koufra au sud de la Libye. Il y a donc des liens de commerce, des liens de trafic avec les populations du nord de Darfour. Et ce n'est pas surprenant qu'elle soit exploitée pour le soutien sécuritaire que les Émirats Arabes Unis étendent aux forces de soutien rapide à travers son allié local au sud de Libye, c'est-à-dire le général Haftar.
So, a convoy was attacked by fighters allied with the Sudanese army. It was transporting mercenaries from Colombia and weapons made in Europe. The mortar bombs had been purchased by a company regularly cited in reports of illegal weapons shipments to Libya, the Emirates-based International Golden Group. As for the mercenaries, one of them filmed his last video in eastern Libya, shortly before crossing into Sudan. A few weeks earlier, he had transited through the UAE, the Gulf state that is accused by Sudanese fighters of backing the rebels. The kind of weapons purchased by the UAE have a devastating effect on the ground. The pro-government forces who captured the convoy say it was on its way to reinforce the RSF. In this video posted by a pro-RSF account in September 2023, fighters are seen firing a mortar. The shells were made by Dunarit. The Bulgarian company's code 46 is visible on the shells in the foreground of the image. The video was published by an anonymous Sudanese fighter on TikTok who follows multiple RSF accounts, suggesting RSF fighters had been using the Bulgarian-made weapons even before the convoy was intercepted in November 2024.
Depuis le début de la guerre civile en cours, il y a des cas où des obus de mortier ont été retrouvés dans des marchés, dans des hôpitaux, dans des camps de personnes déplacées, y compris autour de la ville de El Fasher. Et donc, il existe plusieurs cas dans lesquels l'utilisation potentiellement illégale de ce type de munitions devrait faire l'objet d'une enquête sur des violations graves du droit international.
We spoke to Mohammed Adam, who works for a victims support group in one of the camps in Darfur.
بيجي يستعرف المؤسسات العامة وده برضه بدخل في حاجة إنه المواد اللي عم يقصفوا السوق اللي هو بلقى فيه الكمتاج بتاعه وبيقصف المستشفيات اللي هو مش بيتعالج فيه هو لا قادر يشتغل ولا قادر يلقى اللي ياكل ويشرب والخدمات دي معدومة. بالنسبة لعدد الناس اللي توفوا حاليا هنا في الغرفة حصرنا أكثر من 500 ومن جملة أكثر من 800 شهيد. فالناس بيكونوا في السوق فجأة بيجي غدانا والدانا دي أقل حاجة ممكن يقتل 10 20 30 نفر وبكون في إصابات متفاوتة بأعداد كبيرة.
We contacted the UAE's Ministry of Defense and the International Golden Group. We wanted to ask if they could explain how the mortar bombs they had purchased ended up in Sudan, and whether they had been on their way to the RSF.
Thank you for calling International Golden Group.
They did not respond. On March 6, 2025, the Sudanese government filed a complaint with the International Court of Justice, accusing the United Arab Emirates of conspiring to commit genocide in Darfur by backing the RSF with financial support, mercenaries, and large shipments of arms.